Diligent here, and welcome back to Content Warning. So I recently did a video here where it was showing off some unused monsters in the game, the toolkit set. That, like I said, they're not in the game currently. The only way to spawn them in the game is using mods. Otherwise, you won't see them. So I thought, why not? Let's show off some of the other unused monsters really quick and see how things work for them. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. Now, there may be better mods for using this. I'm using Thunderstorm Mod Manager, I think is what it's called. Personally, I don't really use mods when I play games, so this is entirely new for me, so bear with me on this. So right here, we have a monster that's called the Mimic Man, or also called Demon. From what I can tell, aside from being creepy, he doesn't do anything. Because like I said, this monster isn't in the game currently. It's designed to mimic the bell that you have there. I reckon maybe at some point in the game, the developers planned on having like a giant version of this to kind of trick people into running to the bell for safety and then getting, destroyed. But it isn't in the game, like I said. It just has a looping animation, which is this. It'll spin around, or it'll chase you around like that. Like I said, doesn't do anything. It is hit by, you can stun it with the shock stick, and you can likely get it with the goo ball as well, as you can see there, and slows it down. But like I said, it doesn't do anything except walk into you currently. Like I said in the previous video, the developers don't really have any current big updates planned for this game, as from what I heard last from them, they were planning on working on other projects for the time being. So there isn't any big updates where these guys are going to be added coming up soon, unfortunately, although that would be cool. So that's the Mimic Man. Get here, snail. Now let's see if we can get the ghosts to spawn. Go up here so nothing kills us right away.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so we didn't get the ghost to spawn. Kind of sucks. Moving on, we did explore kind of the outer areas, see if it spawned there. Unfortunately, though, all we ended up finding was our camcorder that we dropped in the bell at the beginning. Fun fact, though, with Content Warning, if you're trying to bring extra items with you, at least in the factory area... Oh, where'd he go? In the factory area, what you can do is you can drop your camera inside the bell, and then when you spawn in on the factory map, your camera is always going to be located over here in this general vicinity. You'll notice it when you see the little bluish glow coming from it. So that is a fun little trick if you want to try and smuggle other extra goodies into the area. As you see here, it looks like we also have a weeping too, so that's terrifying. So we're gonna try not to die by everybody here. Oh, looks like that didn't work. Alright, so we're back. Now we're gonna see if we can make the angler monster spawn. This one is a little bit trickier because we're probably gonna just insta-die if we can pull this off. So for this, we're going to see if we can spawn the angler. Now, the angler is also not in the game. Despite what you may hear from other players, the angler is not in the game currently. It is just an extra monster that they haven't put in here yet. But in order to spawn it, you're going to have to use mods. First, you'd have to enter the angler mimic mod spawn option there. And then once you do that, you can click on spawn angler. You can do that and spawn angler and get a good look at him. Now, as you can see by the really bright light over there, that is the angler. It's almost, as you can see, like I said, it's not really in the game yet, so it doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. Let's see if we can get a better view of him up here without being blinded by the light. So you can barely see him there in the corner. That's what it looks like. As you can see, he's ginormous, but if you look right at him, it's going to have that bright light, and you're not going to be able to see anything. But, there we go, sort of. And that thing, the angler mimic creep thing that it has there, will send you towards the angler until you're able to get within range of it. As you can see, you can trap it with the goo ball and whatnot. But that's the angler right there. It's pretty cool. It will, like, kill you if you get right up to it, though, so. We're about to get 8 here. Oh. So we get the mimic. And there he goes. He sucks you in like that. And then game over. Now the angler mimic, like I said, isn't in the game. And neither is the angler itself. It would be cool if it was, though, but I'm not really sure how the developers would work that in with how ginormous he is. But let's move on to something else. So for this monster, we did switch back to our original profile with content warning. This is the one where we've been playing since forever, and it's going to take 2.5 million views to clear. We've cleared it a couple times. It is doable. That's just really difficult. So previously in content warning, they did have one of the earlier updates. They did have a higher cap, but after the last update where they added the sketch pad and whatnot, they don't have any more. The cap doesn't go any higher than 2.5 million. Now, 2.5 million views is absolutely something that can be cleared in content warning. It is incredibly difficult. It's really hard because the monsters are a lot more aggressive and there's a lot more of them. So definitely something you can do if you're kind of a masochist for the game. Now what we're going to do now, though, is we're going to go ahead and try and spawn in a different monster. It's a pretty cool monster, but despite what you may have heard from other people, this monster is not in the game. It's not in it yet. And that is the Wallow monster. So we're going to go ahead and enter that and see if we can get it. I think I entered that right. So what he does is if you get close to a wall... Did I not get him to spawn right? We might not have done that right. Let's put it over here. That is the Wallow monster. Right there. Oh my god, he got me. So what the Wallow monster does is if it grabs a hold of you, like it did there, it'll go ahead and teleport you to one of these 3 locations. Looks like this location is a big slap room. It's an area where there's big slaps all around, which is pretty terrible. Let's see, where is he? There he is down there, you can see him. We're not gonna mess around with him because, yeah, it spawns you in a room full of big slaps, which is probably the worst possible thing that can happen in content warning. There is another room that the Wallow does where it'll have you, where it teleports you and you have to go through like different, sort of like a platform thing where you have to hop across these platforms, and I'm not sure what the third one is because I'm unfamiliar with it. I'm gonna assume it's based off of the stages. So here in a minute, we'll see if the Wallow has that's awesome. But we'll see if the Wallow has a different area that it takes you to on a different map. The maps are kind of random, so we'd have to clear these 3 days to do that, and that would take a while, and unfortunately I don't have time for that video at the moment. But we'll go ahead and exit here. So we were on that profile there, day 109. We'll go back to our other profile here, and we'll see if we can get a Wallow to spawn here and see what happens. Ah, here we are. This place. Well, let's go see what the Wallow does in this area. And let's see. See if we can get to spawn right here. Nothing? Really? Nothing? Oh, there he is. Oh, no, looks like it still takes us to this room. Interesting. Now, allegedly, if you can make it through this area to the exit of these little sort of alternate world rooms that the Wallow poofies you to, it'll just spawn you back somewhere on the spawn you back somewhere on the regular map. Like I said, this isn't in the game yet, so there's a good chance that it won't do anything. But oh, how about that? Okay, so it looks like it actually does work. That's pretty cool. Oh, where are we? Okay, yeah, we're in the cage area where it's like the fencing and whatnot in the factory. Cool. Alright. So it does look like you can still get teleported and make it through if you survive. But other than that, though, like I said, it's not actually fully integrated into the game yet. So the only way to spawn the Wallow and go through that little fun challenge is using mods. It's just an unused asset along with the other monsters that we've seen so far. So that may not be something that they have fully fleshed out yet. But yeah, anyways, those are the videos we have about the unused monsters with content warning. Let me know down in the comments below what you want to see next. Oh, there's the camera. And I will see you in the next video. Ooh, slurper.